My hands shake as I stand outside the giant glass doors of the Grand Palace Hotel. Tonight is the night I've waited 5 years for. The night when everyone who hurt me will finally see me again. I take a deep breath and look at my reflection in the shiny doors. I don't look like the same scared girl they threw away. My red dress fits perfectly. My dark hair falls in soft waves over my shoulders. I stand tall now, strong. "Are you ready, Emma?" asks Mike, squeezing my hand. His eyes are kind, worried for me. Did I nod, but can't speak. The memories wash over me like cold water. 5 years ago, on the worst night of my life, I stood shivering on our front porch as rain soaked through my thin jacket. My dad, Thomas Williams, stood in the doorway of our big house, his face hard like stone. "You're nothing but trouble," he said, his voice colder than the rain. "We're done with you." Behind him, my mom Lillian didn't even look at me. She just sipped her wine and stared over my shoulder like I wasn't there. My younger sister Olivia peeked out from behind them, a small smile on her face. She was always the favorite, the perfect one. "But where will I go?" I asked, my voice breaking. I was only 18. "Not our problem anymore," my dad said, and shut the door in my face. I stood there for what felt like hours, hoping they would change their minds, hoping someone would care enough to come after me. Nobody did. That night, I slept in the park, curled up on a bench, jumping at every sound. I was so scared, so alone. For 3 days, I wandered, hungry and dirty. I had only $20 and the clothes on my back. On the 4th day, I was so tired I could barely walk. That's when I stumbled into Daisy's diner. Maria Lopez, the owner, found me trying to wash up in the bathroom. She looked me up and down, her eyes sharp but not unkind. "You look like you could use a job and a meal," she said. "And I need help washing dishes." That was my first piece of luck. I worked harder than I'd ever worked in my life. I scrubbed floors until my hands were raw. I washed mountains of dishes. I learned to cook. Maria let me sleep on a cot in the back room. Slowly, I built myself back up. I saved every penny. I took night classes at the community college. I studied business while other people my age were having FU and BY. 23, I had a scholarship to business school. By 25, I started my own company making healthy meal products. Now, at 28, my company is worth millions. I did it all without my family ever knowing. They never looked for me. They never cared what happened to me, but I watched them. I learned their secrets. I discovered that my perfect sister, Olivia, never finished medical school, even though she pretended to be a doctor. I found out my father was stealing money from his medical practice. I learned they were using my name to cheat on their taxes. And tonight, at Olivia's engagement party to rich Dr. James Cooper, they would finally see what I've become. The doorman nods as Mike and I walk into the hotel. Music spills from the ballroom. Crystal chandeliers sparkle overhead. Rich people in fancy clothes sip champagne and laugh. My stomach ties itself in knots when I spot them across the room. My family, smiling and greeting guests like they're the happiest people in the world. My father in his expensive suit. My mother dripping with jewelry. Olivia in her white dress, showing off her giant diamond ring. "Are you sure about this?" Mike whispers. He's been my business partner for 3 years. The only person who knows everything about me, about my past. "I've never been more sure of anything," I say, straightening my shoulders. I take a deep breath and walk toward them, each step slow and strong. People begin to notice me, their eyes curious. My mother sees me first. Her smile freezes. The champagne glass in her hand stops halfway to her mouth. "Why is she here?" she hisses, her voice slicing through the party noise. Conversations stop. People turn to stare. My sister's mouth drops open. "You're not invited," Olivia says loudly, her face turning red. Security. My father doesn't even look at me. He just sips his drink and pretends I'm not there, but I notice something strange. James, my sister's fiancé, looks like he's seen a ghost. His face goes white. His body freezes. He knows something, I realize. Something important. I smile slowly, feeling power rush through me. "Don't you know who I am?" I ask, my voice quiet but clear. The room gets so quiet you could hear a pin drop. People hold their breath. My mother's knuckles turn white around her glass. "My name is Emma Williams," I say, "and I think it's time we had a family reunion." Whispers break out all around us. My mother's perfect smile cracks. My sister's confidence falters. "This is ridiculous," Olivia says with a fake laugh. She's just trying to ruin my special night because she's jealous. I reach into my small purse and pull out a folded paper. I open it slowly, making sure everyone can see. "Is that why your fiancé looks so scared right now?" I ask, holding up the document. "Maybe he'd like to see your real school records." James takes the paper with shaking hands. As he reads, his face changes from shock to anger. "You told me you were a doctor," he says to Olivia, his voice tight. "You said you graduated at the top of your class." "James, she's lying," Olivia says quickly, reaching for him. "She's always been jealous of me." "Am I lying?" I ask, taking out a small black USB drive. "Or should we talk about the money your father has been stealing? Or how you've all been using my identity for tax fraud for years?" My father finally looks at me, his face turning pale. "You don't know what you're talking about," he says, but his voice shakes. Dr. Patterson, the hospital director, pushes through the crowd. "What's this about fraud, Thomas?" he demands, and just like that, their perfect world starts to crumble. James throws Olivia's engagement ring on the floor. Security leads my parents away. Dr. Patterson makes angry phone calls. Olivia falls to her knees, crying, her beautiful dress pulled around her. "Emma, please," she begs, looking up at me with tears streaming down her face. "Please help me. 5 years ago, I would have done anything to hear her say my name like that, to see her need me. But that girl is gone. You never cared about me," I say softly. "And now I don't care about you." I turn and walk away, leaving behind the broken pieces of the family that threw me away. Outside, the night air feels clean and fresh. For the first time in years, I feel truly free. Mike is waiting by the car, a small smile on his face. "So," he says, raising an eyebrow. "Cake." I laugh, feeling lighter than I have in years. "Yes," I say. "Let's get cake." Because revenge wasn't what I really wanted. Freedom was. And now, finally, I am free. But what I don't realize is that my night of triumph is just the beginning. Because there are secrets about my family and about Mike that I still don't know. I wake up the next morning in my big apartment, sunlight streaming through the windows. For a moment, I just lie there, letting it all sink in. I did it. I faced my family and survived, and my phone has been buzzing nonstop. News about the Williams family scandal is everywhere. My father's medical license suspended. My mother hiding from reporters. Olivia's engagement over. I should feel happy. I should feel like I won. But there's an empty feeling in my chest I can't explain. A soft knock on my door makes me sit up. "Emma? You awake?" It's Mike's voice. "Come in," I call. Mike steps in carrying 2 cups of coffee. His dark hair is messy, like he's been running his fingers through it all night. He looks tired. "Couldn't sleep?" I ask, taking the coffee he offers. He sits on the edge of my bed, his eyes serious. "We need to talk, Emma." Something in his voice makes my stomach drop. "About what?" Mike takes a deep breath. "There's something I never told you. About your family. About why I really helped you." The coffee grows cold as Mike tells me his story. How his father worked for my father's medical clinic 15 years ago. How he discovered the fraud and was going to report it. How my father framed him instead, making him lose everything. "Your father destroyed my family, Emma," Mike says, his voice shaking a little. "My dad went to prison for something he didn't do. He died there alone." I feel sick. "So, you found me to use me for revenge?" Mike looks away. "At first, yes. I tracked you down at Daisy's diner. I watched you work, save, study. I planned to approach you, gain your trust, use what you knew." My whole body feels cold. "So, our friendship, our business, it was all a lie?" Mike finally looks at me, his eyes wet. That's what I need you to understand, Emma. It started that way, but it changed. I changed. The more I knew you, the more I saw how brave and kind you were, even after everything they did to you. He reaches for my hand, but I pull away. I wanted to tell you so many times, he says, but I was afraid of losing you. I get up, pacing around my room, trying to make sense of it all. I trusted you, I whisper. You were the only person I trusted. Emma, I need to be alone, I say, cutting him off. Please go. After he leaves, I curl up on my bed and cry for the first time in years. 3 days pass. I don't leave my apartment. I don't answer calls. I just sit and think about my life, my revenge, my family, and Mike. On the 4th day, there's a knock at my door. It's not Mike's knock. It's more hesitant. I open the door and freeze. It's Olivia, my sister. She looks terrible. Her perfect blonde hair is pulled back in a messy ponytail. Her eyes are red and puffy. She's wearing jeans and a simple sweater instead of her usual designer clothes. Can I come in? She asks in a small voice that I should slam the door in her face. I should tell her to go away. But something stops me. I step aside. Olivia sits on my couch, her hands twisting in her lap. Neither of us speaks for a long time. I was the one who told them to throw you out, she finally says, her voice barely above a whisper. I feel like she's punched me. What? Tears spill down her cheeks. I was 16, stupid and jealous. You were always so smart, so strong. Dad would talk about how you had real potential, while I was just pretty. She wipes her eyes. That night, I heard you arguing with them about going to college instead of marrying Peter Anderson. I remember that fight. Peter was the son of my father's business partner. They wanted me to marry him to strengthen business ties. I refused. I told Dad you were planning to report his fraud to the medical board. Olivia continues. It wasn't true, but I knew it would make him angry enough to do something drastic. You wanted me gone that badly? I ask, my voice breaking. Olivia looks at me, her eyes full of shame. I wanted to be the favorite. I wanted what you had, their respect. But once you were gone, nothing was ever enough. I had to be perfect. I had to pretend to be a doctor even though I failed out of medical school. I had to marry James even though I don't love him. I sit heavily in a chair across from her, trying to process it all. Why are you telling me this now? Because I'm turning myself in, she says. For the fraud, for everything. Dad and Mom are blaming each other, making deals with prosecutors. They haven't changed at all. She takes a deep breath. But seeing you that night, so strong, so sure of yourself even after what we did to you, it made me realize I don't want to be like them anymore.
I don't know what to say. Part of me still hates her for what she did.
But another part sees something I never saw before, a scared girl who made terrible mistakes. I don't expect you to forgive me, Olivia says, standing up. I just wanted you to know the truth. As she turns to leave, I find myself speaking. What will you do now? She shrugs. I'll probably go to jail for a while. After that, start over, maybe. Try to be a better person. I think about second chances, about lies that become truth, about revenge and forgiveness. When I was thrown out, I say slowly, a stranger gave me a chance. She saw something in me worth saving. Olivia looks at me, confusion in her eyes. Maybe. I pause, hardly believing what I'm about to say. Maybe when this is all over, you could come work for my company. Start over. Her eyes widen. Why would you do that for me? I'm not doing it for you. I say honestly, I'm doing it for me, so I don't become like them, cold and unforgiving. After Olivia leaves, I sit for a long time, thinking about cycles of hurt and healing. Then I pick up my phone and call Mike. We meet at Daisy's Diner, where everything began for me. Maria greets me with a hug, still the same tough but kind woman who saved me years ago. Mike is waiting in a booth, looking like he hasn't slept in days. When he sees me, he stands quickly. I wasn't sure you'd come, he says. I slide into the booth across from him. I almost didn't. We order coffee, and for a while, we just sit in silence. I understand if you never want to see me again, Mike finally says. But I need you to know that everything changed. My feelings for you are real, Emma. More real than anything in my life. I look at him, really look at him, at the man who came into my life planning revenge, but stayed because of something else. We're quite a pair, aren't we? I say with a small smile. Both of us using each other for revenge. Emma. But that's not all it was it? I ask quietly. Somewhere along the way, it became something more. Hope flickers in his eyes. It did for me. I reach across the table and take his hand. I'm still angry and hurt, and it's going to take time for me to trust you again. He nods, understanding. But I want to try. I finish. Because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that holding on to anger only hurts yourself in the end. Mike squeezes my hand, his eyes suspiciously bright. Where do we go from here? I think about Olivia, about second chances, about the future. Forward. I say simply. We go forward. Later, as we walk along the river, the setting sun turning the water to gold, I realize something important. Revenge wasn't what healed me. It wasn't what set me free. It was building something new. It was finding my own strength. It was learning that I had the power to choose mercy over punishment.
What are you thinking about?
Mike asks, his shoulder brushing mine. Did I look up at the wide open sky? I'm thinking that sometimes the best revenge isn't making others suffer. It's living well and being happy despite what they did to you. Mike slips his arm around my shoulders. And are you? Happy. For the first time in years, I feel the hard knot inside my chest begin to loosen. I'm getting there. I say, and I mean it, the past will always be part of my story. The girl who was thrown away. The family that broke apart. The lies and the pain. But it's not the whole story, because now I get to write the rest of it my way, and in the end, that's the greatest victory of all.